me share the screen. So hope you all are able to make AWS account. Is there any issue in making the AWS account? Or even if you are doing it later, just make sure that you don't have any issue in making the AWS account. Okay. So I have my AWS account ready. I mean, it's my old account. It's already 6 months old. So it's chargeable, but for you, it will not be chargeable. So make sure you make an AWS account. Anyways, today you cannot do with me because I will show you and then you will practice. So please by today EOD, please make an AWS account so that at least the demos you can practice. Because if you don't practice, then the contents will be forgotten. Although I'll give you the PDF to follow the steps. Okay. So let me open some session two here. So this session one also I'll give you. Okay. And these are the contents which will follow. So we have discussed about the types of cloud and the cloud service model, and in that we will discuss about the EC2 today. Okay, one by one all the resources we will cover so that it will be easy when you will go for a production upgrade. So guys, there are people here who are very experienced, more than 5 years. There are people here who are very college. So it's difficult for any college people to pick uh, at very instant rate, and experienced people can understand it very easily. So please ask questions. Don't think that you should not ask questions, even it is a silly question. Okay, because second year students, I can't predict that some of the people may not have heard of even AWS. Okay, so uh, don't hesitate to ask questions. Okay, you can even the experienced guys, you can help each other. I mean, you can help the juniors to make understand. Okay, yeah. So let's start with EC2. Okay. So EC2 I'm starting because EC2 is the base of AWS. So if you go to any of the services, somewhere EC2 is getting connected. Okay. So EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud, or in simple terms, it's a server. Okay. It's a server. It's a virtual server. Of course, the underlying hardware you cannot see. So what is a laptop? Laptop is a server, but the hardware you can see. If you open it, you will be able to see the hardware. Okay. But EC2, the hardware is maintained by AWS. Okay. You don't have to maintain it. Okay. You can see it virtually. You can deploy your application. Okay. That's what is EC2. Okay. So that's what it is written here. No one will ask questions, but at least for your understanding, resizable virtual servers. You can resize it also. Suppose if you are using X amount of X size of EC2, you can make it 2X size of EC2. Okay. You can change the instance type at a very frequent level. Okay. It's not like you have to make another EC2 and deploy the server there. You can change the same EC2 each and every time. I'll show you also. Okay. And the next thing is like EC2 architecture is there. Not much you have to know. There's nothing like architecture kind of thing. Okay. This is like EC2 architecture overview. Don't think like it's an architecture. Just it's some information that EC2 runs on AWS managed physical servers, which you cannot manage. That's why I've written AWS managed. Okay. Not you are managing. You are just managing what? The OS and the application. Okay. And these are certain things which you don't have to. AWS Nitro system. So Nitro system is like a it's a different kind of EC2. It's a type of EC2. Okay, which is for isolation and performance. It's basically dedicated for you. If you use, anyone has used it. I have never used it in my 10 years of career. Okay, so no one used to use it until unless it's a very big organization perspective they are using. One second, someone has joined. Sorry. Where is So hope you all are able to see my screen. Okay, yeah. So important concept is you can manage the OS and the application. AWS manages hardware, networking, data centers. So if you read this doc, it's very simple and crisp. I've not made it very big lectures because you don't need it. Okay, sorry. Second is I'll go directly to practical, and from there we'll gather the information. Okay. So suppose if you have to deploy a application. Okay. Any application, suppose a web page of index.html. Okay, you have to deploy. Okay, so we'll make one instance first. We'll make one server. So I am going to launch instance. So you have to go to, you will get the console, and in the console, if you just type EC2, you will be able to see this console. Okay, and this is the region I told. Okay, as I told you, if you remember my last session, these are the regions. Okay, and each region has availability zones. Okay, it's like region is a country, and availability zones are the states. Okay, each region has three availability zones. For why? Because if one state goes down, other state will be available for that. Okay, each state is like a data center where all the physical servers are present. Each availability zones is like a discrete data center. Okay, but they're connected to each other so that one if goes down, the traffic will automatically route to the other. Okay, so these are the regions which is present. If you see in organization, you'll be able to see that US East one is the most popular region where people are deploying. But now suppose if you are in India, right? So people are using Hyderabad region. This came very newly, Hyderabad. Earlier Bombay was there for last 6 to 7 years. But Hyderabad came recently, I think 1 year ago only. Okay. Because AWS is expanding its business in Hyderabad. You will be able to see a company totally called AWS in Hyderabad. So let's go to launch instance. So I'm giving name and class. Okay. So I'm giving, suppose I'm giving a tag called test or name called test. Okay. Now I'm giving, you can give additional tags. Now what is additional tags? One tag is already name equal to test what I have given. Suppose if you have to if you have to explicitly categorize it that this should be for lower environment and QA or dev, anything. So in that way, it's helpful to recognize only. Okay. Tag based is the best approach. Okay. For production, you will not see a EC2 without tag based. Okay. In production. Okay. So different, so many tags you can put it. Okay. Suppose if you have written your team name. Okay. Your team name is DevOps. Okay. So you can give so many tags. It will help you to categorize. Okay. Application name you can give your application is suppose data lake. That application is APG. Okay. So that helps us. It is the best practices. If you say if you someone asks you like what is the best practice to create a EC2, you can just put this. Okay. Next is the AMI. Okay, you have to select the AMI. Now, what is the AMI? Okay, so this is the most important thing. Without this, EC2 can't be created. AMI, Amazon Machine Image. Okay, so let's see what is an AMI. So I have given AMI somewhere. I have not given. Strange. I should have given somewhere AMI. One second, guys. Not taken. Yeah, AMI. Okay. So AMI is a template to create EC2 instances. Okay. Until unless this template is there, you cannot create EC2 instances. And what AMI contains? AMI contains the operating system, the pre-installed software. So whatever the softwares are necessary to launch an EC2. Okay. That is there and all the other configuration settings. Now you will see that you have to create an AMI. No, you don't have to create an AMI. You can create a custom AMI, but you don't have to do all these things. It's automatically there. Just you have to put the names. Okay. I'll show you now what is an AMI. Okay. So if you see so many AMIs are there. Okay. So many AMIs are there. Now there is a separate section of AMIs. Okay. You can just see there. Let me go to AMIs directly. So if you go to EC2 dashboard, okay. Let me go to EC2 dashboard. So whenever you are practicing AWS, make sure you open several tabs. Okay. Because something you have to check always. If you see in the images section, there is AMI. Okay. And if you see owned by me, owned by me, it's owned by me because I have not created any fresh AMI. So that's why it's empty. No AMIs in this region. But if I create two public images, okay, let it come up. So you'll be able to see so many public images. And who is providing this? This AWS is providing by default. Okay. So either you create your own AMI or you can use the default AMI. Okay. So now what the companies are using? Both. Okay. Companies are using both uh, Amazon provided AMIs because Amazon provided AMIs is also very secure and up to date. It's not like you cannot use or it has something. Okay, but many companies are using default AMIs also because they have to create their own custom softwares and all. Okay, so these are the AMIs. Now, what the AMI contains? So let's go to one of the AMI. This AMI. Okay, so if you see what it contains the AMI ID. Okay, and every AMI ID is unique. Okay, platform details. So this is Linux. Okay, so Linux EC2s will be created. Okay, account number. Okay, and the AWS account number. Uh, okay, this account number actually is provided by the AWS itself, right? So AWS has the master account in their company. Okay, that account number it's given. It's the owner account number, which you can use. Okay, you can also create your own name and share it with other account. Okay, there the owner account ID will be this. Okay, if you create your own, I'll show you that also. Okay, there is a EBS volume. What is EBS? I'm going to describe now. Okay, and this is the description and this is the volume. Okay, so volume, why volume is there? Volume is there for containing the data. Simple. What is a volume? Volume is to contain the data. EBS is one type of volume which I'm going to discuss. So this is the most important part, platform details, because from this you'll be able to know whether this is Linux or some other operating system devices. So if I go to Windows, you'll be able to see Windows. Okay, so if I go to any Windows, just type Windows, you'll be able to see. So if I go to this AMI, right, you'll be able to see platform details is Windows. Okay. So these AMIs are only populating in this. Okay. Auto populating in this. Okay. So I am taking one Amazon Linux 2003 kernel. This is a Linux based AMI. So I'm taking this. Okay. By default is also there. Okay. So this is AMI. Okay. So you can say like AMI is the blueprint for EC2. Okay. Where all the details are there. Just they're filling the details. The underlying hardware is within the AWS. Okay. Let me know wherever you feel issue, especially the college folks. So this is the instance type. Okay, next is the instance type. Okay. Now, I think when you are using the free tier, you'll be able to see one free tier called T2 Micro. I'm not able to see free tier because mine is 6 months old, and AWS is giving only 6 months free tier. Okay. So instance type is from the name itself, you'll be able to understand like what is the instance type. It's like sizes. T2 Micro is small. T2 Nano is the most small. T2 Micro is the next step above T2 Nano, because if you see it's using one vCPU 0.5 GB memory, it's using one vCPU 1 GB memory, it's using one vCPU 2 GB memory. So you'll be able to see different sizes. Okay. It has a very large size, suppose gaming application and all, right? That requires very large sizes because that constantly uses the CPU and the memory. Okay, so at the time you will be using this and all. Okay, so I am taking very, very low T2 dot micro or T3 dot micro, whatever is there. Okay. Anyways, mine is chargeable. So although I'm not paying anything because I have not made it out. So next is the key pair. Okay. So what things are necessary for creating an EC2? If you see, is tags necessary? No, tags is not necessary, but it's the best practice. Next is the AMI, which is the most important thing because without AMI, EC2 can't be created. And if you see different versions are here itself present. Operating system, Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows. So you can use Ubuntu here itself and you'll be able to see the Ubuntu AMI images. Okay. And how will you see the details for the AMI images? I told you, right? There is a separate section for AMI. You can get it from there. Okay. So, okay, let it use Ubuntu, whatever. So next is do and next is the key pair. So key pair is the one of the most necessary thing in EC2. Can we create an EC2 without a key pair? Yes, we can create it. But why we create? One second, guys. Just a second, guys. হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ বলো।
আরে কটায় বেরোবি? দুপুরে বেরোবি?
হুম, 12টা নাগাদ বেরাই, 12টা করে নেবো।
ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ 12টা একটা নাগাদ বেরোবো। ঠিক আছে,
কারণ ওখানে লাঞ্চের সময় জায়গা নেই।
ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে। তো লাঞ্চ করেই বেরোচ্ছি, 2টা অব্দি বেরোচ্ছি।
ঠিক আছে,
ঠিক আছে,
দুটোর সময় বেরিয়ে যাবো।
ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে।
হুম।
Okay, yeah. So key pair. Key pair is what? Key pair is just like a user ID password. Okay. So if I create a key pair, now see, I'm creating a key pair. You can give any name. I'm giving the name test. Okay. And there are two formats, .pem, .ppk. Okay. If you want to launch the server within putty, there is a software to log in to EC2. There are several softwares. You can log in through CMD, you can log in through session manager, you can log in through putty. Okay. I am launching through CMD, so I don't need a PPK format. Okay. So what is PEM format? What is a PPK format? You don't have to understand much. It's some cryptographic algorithm is there, which is making a PEM and the PPK format. Just remember, if you want to launch instance through putty, you have to use PPK format. For now, I'm using .pem format. And now what is a key pair? Okay, key pair, you will be able to understand it is a key pair. It has two keys, it means. That's why it's a pair. And what are the two keys? Public key and the private key. Okay. So you can understand it's like a public lock and a private key. It's like a door. Okay. It's like a door of your room. Okay. Or house. That you are putting a lock and you are using the key to open the lock. Okay. So private key will be with you and public key will be within the EC2. Okay. So you can consider public lock and a private key. So public key will be within the EC2, private key will be with you. Okay. How I'll be able to show. Okay. So let's see. There's a downloads. And if I open, so if you see, there is a one temp format key got downloaded. And if you see, this is the private key, beginner as a private key. So this is some cryptographic format which you don't have to take care. So this AWS is built making for you. You don't have to do anything, just you have to create on key pair. Okay. You need this key while logging to EC2. Right now you have seen the key pair, private key, but you have not been able to see the public key because public key will be within EC2. Okay, when I will launch EC2, I'll be showing. I'll be showing you. Okay. Now the third thing is coming is the security group. Fourth thing, right? Just a second, guys. Yeah. So what is a security group? Security group is nothing but you can consider it's a firewall. You can consider, but it's not like you have to consider because it's a firewall actually. Okay. It's not like it's a kind of firewall, it's a firewall. What is a firewall does? It used to restrict the traffic. Okay, it used to restrict the traffic. So suppose I want this traffic only to go through. I can restrict it through security groups. So whenever people will ask like what are the best practices to create an EC2? Okay. So one of the best practices I told you it should be a tag. Tagging should be followed. Security groups must be set up. Okay. So this is one of the criteria. Okay, one thing is I just wanted to tell you. So suppose if you see instance type, there is certain thing called get advice. You can now it's a new thing which is coming up. You can see the get advice thing, like what advice they are giving for instance type selection, use case, and all. Okay, so you can get a advice also. Okay, so suppose if you want to launch a web app server, web hosting. Okay, what is the performance? What is the parameters you can give? So I want number of vCPUs. Okay, and it should be at least two. Okay, maximum it should go four. Okay, get instance type advice. Okay, they will give you very good advices also. Okay, so you can try this. Okay, very good advices it used to give. Okay, so now AWS is giving so much things. Okay, so now security group. Okay, As I told you, security group is a restriction of traffic. So I will create a security group first. Okay. So let's create a security group. So EC2 people, what used to do, they used to show the demo and they used to go through. But the thing is like, if I don't go in details, this will be used very regularly. Okay. So if I go to EC2 dashboard again, okay. That's why I told you like open at least 4 to 5 tabs, 5 to 6 services. And if you go to network and security, so images will be in AMIs will be in images, and network and security groups. So I'm creating a security groups. Okay. So these are default security group which is present. Now I'm creating a security group. Okay. So allow, let me give some name, allow HTTP and SSH traffic. Now what is SSH and HTTP? I'll let you know. Okay. Traffic spelling is correct. Right? Same description I'm giving you. You don't have to give description. Now what is a VPC? I told you, right? VPC. So VPC is a pre-VPC and post-VPC will take at least 2 to 3 sessions to cover, where we'll cover a lot of things. Okay. Let it be like that. Whatever is there is the default VPC which is given by AWS. You can create your own VPC as well. Now, what is a VPC? We'll discuss later. So, inbound rules. So, I'm just adding inbound rules. So, inbound rule is what? What is going inside the traffic and from where it is going. That is inbound rule. And what is outbound rule? What is going out of the EC2? Okay, that is outbound rule. So, inbound rule is the most important thing, that from where it should go, which traffic it should contain. Okay, it should let the EC2 should let the traffic enter. That is security rule, inbound rules. So, I am telling that to let the HTTP traffic go. Okay, and what is the cost from where it should go? It should go from my IP only. Okay, so what it will do, if I log into the EC2 from my IP, then only it should be able to log in. Okay. Now I am putting one more, that is SSH. Okay. And the port is 22. It should also go from my IP only. Okay. Now what is the difference between SSH and HTTP? SSH is secured. I think what was the full form? Secured some protocol. Okay. So SSH is used for logging only. Okay. If you have to log into EC2, you have to open SSH 22 port. Okay. So the default port of SSH is 22. Just remember. The default port of HTTP is 80. Okay. So if you have to log into EC2, you have to have the SSH port open. Okay. Now suppose if you have deployed some web page in there, at that time HTTP is needed. But for logging only SSH is needed. Okay. So I am putting one, and let it be not my let it be anywhere. So anywhere, when it is saying like 0.0.0.0, this is like everywhere. Like if I give you the IP of this uh, I mean, if I give you the IP of this server to you, you'll be able to log in. Okay. So anyway, this is not a recommended practice. So no companies will do this kind of things. Okay. But I'm doing it right now. Okay. And outbound traffic. So I want whatever traffic is coming, that should be getting out of. Okay. So all traffic I want, that should be going out of the EC2 also. So this is by default. Okay, outbound rules. Outbound rules is by default. You don't have to change anything anytime. Okay. So this also tags you can give it. Okay. So you can give it a name and give test. You can add another tag also, and this is also you can give it dev or test, whatever. You can add more tags. Okay. So hope you understand the rule of inbound, which is coming to the EC2, outbound, which is going out of the EC2. So I want whatever traffic. So what is the meaning of out of? Okay, out of the traffic, where it will go after getting out. Suppose I am I am giving some gifts to someone. Okay, and he is telling thank you. Okay, so thank you is coming to me, and I am giving the gift to, that is the inbound traffic. I am giving the gift, and she is responding, or he is responding like thank you. So that is coming to me. So you are logging to EC2, and EC2 is telling that you are logged in. Okay, so that's the outbound traffic. So if you don't open the outbound traffic, it will show that you will not be able to receive the message logged in. So that means you are not logged in. Okay, so it's like a 200 response is going on, but you are getting the 404 response. Okay, or 400 response. So that is the meaning of inbound and out. So that's why outbound traffic should always be open, because anyways you are letting the traffic in. Why won't let the traffic out? Okay. So create a security group. So I have created two inbound rules, if you see here, and outbound rules is one. Okay, that is all traffic. Okay. So next is, so I'm again going. So now I have already created a security group. So let's use the security group. So this is my security group. Allow HTTP and SSH traffic. So, okay. So this is the volume. Okay. Now volume, I'll discuss what is a volume. Okay. So volumes are of many types. Okay. One is the root volume. So if you see, this is a root volume. Okay. Root volume, which is by default, it is present with EC2. You can add additional volumes. How can we add additional volumes? Now there comes the concept of EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Okay. So let me go to EBS. Okay. Mm, okay. Yeah. So EBS is what? EBS is a block level storage designed for EC2. Okay. It's like a hard disk. Okay. Suppose you are attaching a hard disk to your laptop, right? So you can consider that's the EBS, because your laptop already has some storage and you are adding additional storage. So it's just like a hard disk. Okay. So so you can consider, like, suppose if your laptop goes down, okay, your all data will be lost. But if your hard drive is with you, even if your laptop goes down, the data will persist in the hardware, right? Sorry, hard disk, right? Same, it is like this. Root volume will be destroyed as soon as the EC2 will get destroyed. But your EBS will always be there. Okay, so that's much important for data persistence. Okay, so data persistence is much important when you are working in a production grade application. Okay, suppose if your EC2 goes down, you don't want your data to goes down, otherwise the whole market will crash, right? So that is one of the benefits of ABS. So we can create ABS and add to it. Okay, so every availability zone has one is sorry ABS. So it's not like if you're creating a ABS in availability zone 1, right? So you can attach that to another availability zone. It's a AZ specific. Okay, I'll show you. Let's create an ABS. Okay. Availability zone, I have told you, it's like a country and states are the AZs. Okay. So let me open another tab. This message, guys. Just a second, guys. So let's go to again to EC2, and in the volumes and the snapshot section, you'll be able to see the ABS. Okay. So I currently don't have ABS. So create a volume. And what is GP3? If you see GP3, and so many things are there. So I've written a small things on the GP3 ABS volume types. Let's just go through quickly. So that what is a GP3? It's like a default general purpose. If you are using some uh, application, you can use that default GP3. IO2 is like a mission critical databases. Okay. Suppose if you are using some defense databases, right? At that time, you can use the IO1 and the IO2. Okay. Big data processing, at that time, you can use the ST1. So you can just say like GP3 allows independent scaling of storage and IOPS. I mean, you can scale up. It automatically used to scale up actually. Okay. So so mostly we're using GP3. Okay. Uh, in if any other informations came up from the higher level, then only we use other levels. Okay. So I am putting it not at 100 GB. Let's put it just 1 GB. Okay. IOPS you can put it, and what is IOPS? You can just give it. The requested number of IO operations per second that the volume can support it is applicable provisioned IOPS. So you can just read that. I'm not going much on this. Okay. So info is there, and throughput is like throughput performance, like how much it can sustain, right? How much MB per second it can get it and all. So these are the IOPS and the throughput. Okay. So you can increase it if you have a big application. Okay. So if you see here, my main purpose was to see that it's a availability zone. So now you're able to see the availability zone. As I told you, right? Right now we are in which region? US East 1. And if you see, there are three availability zones. US East 1A, 1B, 1C. And now I think six availability zones are there. Now they have increased from three to six. Okay, minimum three availability zones will be there. Okay, no region will not have availability zones less than three. It has minimum of three. Okay, now US East one is so popular that they have made it to six actually. Okay, so if you see, I am putting a availability zone of US East one. Okay, so you can see that I cannot create two. Okay, I cannot select two simultaneously. I have to select just one. So this means EBS is AZ specific. Okay. Now, okay, someone has joined. Okay. So yeah. So if you see AZ specific. Now, what AZ I have to select? Can I select any AZ? You can select any AZ. But can I connect it to EC2? No. EC2 has to be in the same AZ. Otherwise, you cannot. So it is AZ specific. So I have to see like where the EC2 will get created first. Okay. Then only I can get it, right? Otherwise, I cannot, right? So let it create the EC2 first, okay? Or I can add root volume, okay, to extend it, but I don't want to use root volume, okay? So if you see, this is the root volume, but this is the what? EBS volume, okay? If I'm creating more volumes, it's a EBS volume, it's not a root volume, okay? So automatically it will create one EBS volume. I don't have to go and create from here, okay? Or you can go and create from there also. You can later attach it. I'll show you. So for now, I am attaching this, okay, one, and one I will attach when the EC2 will be created. Okay. So now I am going to launch the EC2. So what we learned from there, we learned that AMI is needed. We learned to create an EC2 instance type is needed. We know that to log into EC2, key pair is needed. If you don't want to log in, then you don't need key pair. Okay. And to get the traffic enter to EC2, and from the traffic to get the response back, we need security group. So AMI, instance type, key pair, and security group. These four things inside the EC2. These are four individual resources. Like if you go to some training session, they will take another session for each. But I don't want to take because these are the things which you should not take much time actually. Okay. So let's create an EC2 now. Okay. Now if I go to launch. Okay, instance state is running now. If you want to go to the dashboard, you will be able to see. Now, if you see the status check initializing, okay. Now, what is the status check? This has been asked to me one time only once in my career. The interview at the time, I was not able to answer what are the status checks. Actually, these are the questions which should not be asked. Okay, but he was too deep in the things. Okay, so that's why I have taken a separate notes for status checks. Okay, what is a status check? So status check is something that you don't have to do anything there. Okay, your role is zero there. It's always AWS role. Okay, you launch an EC2, your work is over. Okay. Now, what status check is will be doing and how many status checks? So let's see how many status checks first it will do. Okay. So let me refresh. Let it come up. Now, if you see, EC2 has been created in what? Availability zone US East 1C. Okay. And now, as I told you that I have created an EBS there. You will be able to see one EBS. If I go to volumes, you will be able to see. So this is the default which is given by AWS. And if you see, today is the date, and if you see, it's initialization. So this is the EBS, and this is our instance also. Okay. So you'll be able to see this instance where your EBS is there. Okay. So from here, you'll be able to see the EBS. And this is the root volume actually. Okay. Root volume is also one type of EBS only, but it's called root because it's already used to get attached. And these are we are attaching. Okay. And I can attach one more EBS. So where I have to make the volume US East 1C because our EC2 is the 1C. So I'm creating 1 GB. Okay. And so this I'll put it to 1C. Otherwise you cannot attach it. You can try attaching it. You will be able to see that zone is not same. Some kind of error like that. So I have created one volume in US was 1C. You'll be able to see 1 GB. So this is not attached yet. If you see here, it's still in available. It's not in use. So when I'll attach to EC2, it will be in use. Okay. So let's go ahead and see what is the status of EC2. It is so much time taking. Okay, so it's mostly 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. Okay, so what is the 3 by 3? So someone has asked me a question like what actually the status checks are. Okay, so you have to tell. So it's like a memorizing thing. Okay, that in the interview you have to tell. It's a it mostly checks the OS boot success that the operating system has come up fully or not. Network is proper there or not. Network stack inside the OS. Kernel status because if you see Windows has a kernel. Okay, it's like underlying hardware where all the layers of hardware are present. If you see, if you go ahead and see any operating system, the first thing is the kernel. Okay, it's like a base. It's like uh, this is the root soil, and inside the earth, there are so many soils are there, soil layers are there. Okay, that's the kernel. Okay, kernel status is there or not. CPU and memory availability are there or not. Okay, that's the instance status check. We'll check. Okay, so these are the things which you have to tell to the client or whoever will ask you. Very vague question, like maybe 1 out of 20 you will get this question, which you don't have to take care as well. Okay. So as I told you, system check failure means AWS infra problem. Okay. So it's like if your status is not coming up, mostly it's a AWS problem, not yours. But sometimes it happens like due to network issues, it's not coming. Uh, Due to some policies you apply, that is not coming. So it's if you see 3 by 3. Now, if I want to show you what is the 3 by 3, you will not be able to see it. There is no clicking option here. Okay, just you'll be able to see 3 by 3. What 3 by 3 is taking, you will not be able to see. Okay. So if you see 3 by 3 system reachability list, okay, that's it. You'll be able to see. Nothing you'll be able to see. So actually, they should not ask the question which is owned by AWS, but still they want to say that if you have done research or not and all. But until unless you are working for a startup and all, you will not do all. Even if you are working for a startup, you will not do all the research. You just buy the server and start doing it. So it will check the OS boot success mostly, network stack, or you can tell from your own end also. So it will check the kernel, the network, the OS boot, and the CPU and memory availability. Even I don't remember. Okay. So when the interview is to come, I have to just memorize this. Okay. Or you can write it somewhere so that we can tell you. Okay. So we have our EC2 ready. Now I told you, right? I will add one EBS on this. Okay. So let's go ahead to EBS. So what is our EC2 instance ID? This is the EC2 instance ID, right? You can copy it from here. And if you go to volumes, And this EC2, this EBS is not in use. This I created, but I have not used it. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on this, and you can go to actions, and you can put to attach volume, and instance ID you can search. So I have only one instance ID running, so you can just go ahead and run it. Device name, you can select like what is the device name you can give. So I am selecting what I should select, anything, dev SDC. So this is a device name. Remember that you have selected this dev SDC slash dev slash SDC. I mean, you can see it also. Invalid value dev is for Unix device. Attach slash dev SDC is already in use. Okay, so SDD. Okay. So these are the small errors that you will get it. Okay. Now if you see it, it's in use. Okay. Fine now. Okay. Now let's go to EC2 again. Where was my EC2? And just open the EC2 interface first. Okay. So what are the things that you are able to see here? Instance ID, public IP, private IP, host type, auto assigned IP address. Okay. Platform details. Now where the platform details are coming up, Linux from the AMI. You'll be able to see the AMI ID as well. See, without this can't be created. Okay. So guys, we have done up to this. Now I log into ECT and do some performances. Okay, performance testing. But I want to know like so many things I have told in between. Anywhere, of course, you will forget many things. That's why I'm recording also, and I will give you the PDF as well, okay, for this session. So first, let me know, especially the college folks and all. Okay, so I'll take the silence as no. Okay, okay, fine. So now I hope you are able to see that EC2 is getting launched. What are the things that you will be able to see? Let me show you. If you go to the dashboard, you'll be able to see the details here in the below. Okay. You'll be able to see the security. You will be able to see the security groups, what you have added. Okay. And from here, you can just open the security groups tab, check the inbound rules and the outbound rules, whatever you have discussed. You have put it. Okay. This is a HTTP. And what you can see here, you can see the storage. And if you see that these are the storages I have used, right? One storage so I was using dev SDB, which is already in use. That's why it's not. But dev SDD, if you see, I have attached it, right? You can remove it also. From here itself, you can remove it. If you just go here, okay, and you can do that. So you can use the storage and whatever the tags you have used, right? That you can see. Okay, okay, these are the tags I have used for EC2. Okay, so I hope you are able to do it. Now, as I told you, right, that I have to log into EC2 first. Okay, so let me log into EC2. Now, how can I log into EC2? How can I get all the things? You have to click on connect. And if you see, there is a SSH client. Okay, so if you see, there is the command is there, the full command is there. Okay, so what is this? This is the username actually. Okay, so what is the username? How can you get the username? So username is for Ubuntu, it's Ubuntu always at the rate of public IP. Okay. So now you came to know like to log into EC2, you need a public IP. You cannot log in through private IP. Okay. But private IP is where needed. Suppose if you are deploying some database services. Okay. You don't need the public IP. You want to keep it within you. So at that time you don't assign the public IP. There is an option where you will get like auto assign public IP is there, right? That you have to what that you have to uncheck it. Okay, let me show you how it is getting the IP addresses. Okay. So if I go to instances running, if I go to another launch instance, And if I go to um, networking, yeah. So enable IP address, right? Or to assign public IP. So that you have to disable. Okay. And availability zone also you can. Otherwise, it will take a default. I mean, any random availability zone among the three. You can, if you want, like you can choose it also. Okay. So in this way, you can remove the public IP. You cannot remove the public IP from the existing EC2. If you have to create a instance without the public IP, you have to create another EC2 and you have to delete it. Okay, terminate it. So that's the thing. Now I log in. Okay. Going back to the dashboard. So let me log in and connect and SSH. So if you see, I'm SSH hyphen what is taking? It's taking the private key. Okay, and the username at the public IP. So this is not public IP. This is public DNS hostname. Okay, from where they are getting it? Either you can put public IP also or the DNS hostname also. Okay, so if you go to just instance ID, you will be able to see the public DNS hostname. This is the, or this is private. I think public will also be there somewhere. One second, guys. What happened? Okay, got lose a bit. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to find everything at the same place. Okay. So here, if you see, this is the public DNS hostname. Okay. So that only they are using here in the connect. You can use the public IP as well. Okay. So if you go, there is a public IP. Okay. Detail in the details section, you will be able to use the public IP, public DNS. Okay, both. Okay. So I'm launching an instance now. Okay. So this is SSH, this command I am just copying. Okay. Now I'm going to my CMD. Okay. You should use CMD. Now, where is my test.pem? What key pair? It's in my downloads. Okay. So wherever you have downloaded, you have to go to that section. Okay. So I'm just going to downloads. Okay. Now I'm running this command. Okay. Okay. Now just I'm clicking on yes. So now I am inside the EC2. Okay. If you see Ubuntu at the rate of public IP, this is my, I think this is my public IP. If you see, or my private IP, something like that. So let's see what is this IP. So this is the private IP. I mean, you have to log in through public IP, but in the interface, you will be able to see Ubuntu at the rate of private IP. Okay. So from here, you will be able to understand, okay, I have logged into this instance 172.31. Summary 31.18.88. But you cannot log in through this IP. You will be able to see only this IP here. Okay, but you cannot log. Okay. So if you just type hostname, okay, you will be able to see your private IP. Okay, and hostname hyphen I hyphen I. There also, so this will show the exact public IP 172.31. Otherwise, it will show the pattern dash 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 dash, which is difficult to understand. So now you are logged in. Okay. Now, whatever you want to do. Now I have to check like whether my volumes are there or not first. Okay. So this volume, right? Uh, my volumes will definitely be there. But if I have to see this volume, this is there or not. CD. So no such file or directly. So I have to mount the volume. Okay. So if I go to where is this? this one, right? What I created. That's just fine. So now you understand, like, although your volume you have created, right? But you cannot see it because you have not mounted it. Only attaching the volume will not work. You have to mount it also. Okay. Then only it will reflect in your EC2. Okay. So if I just go to this, so this is the root user. I am in the Ubuntu user, but if you want all privileges, if you have to switch yourself to root user. So what is the command? Sudo. Okay, sudo ur. So what is root user? That root user has all the privileges. Okay. So let's check through root user also if it is there or not. So you can imagine like it's not mounted. Okay. So let's mount it. Okay. So let's mount my one user, which is of 1 GB. Okay. So this is the path. So what is the mount path? Mount commands are there. So you don't have to memorize it. Even I don't used to do that. I have written it here. Okay. So this is EFS mounting. EBS mounting is there. So let's create one dir as they told. Okay. So I'm making a directory. Directory means it's a folder. Okay. Now if I go to cd/data2, it's there. Okay. Nothing is there. Okay. So I will mount this directory into this. Okay. So what will be the command? So this will be the command sudo mount. Okay. Dev. Okay. So I think it's not dev. It's dev std. I think. Why it's not coming? Sudo mount dev/dev. What was the name of the /dev/sdd? Okay. Dev std does not exist. Why it's showing like this? Let's see. So if you see there is an icon here, Amazon Q. Okay. You can use this. It's like a ChatGPT. Okay. So you can just ask that why it's not giving. Give me the commands for mounting AWS in EC2. Okay. So more than other things, right? Other AI platforms, you should use this because this will give you a perfect example because this is explicitly for AWS. Okay. So if you see, this is the command, AWS CLI command this is giving. Okay. And these are the things that you have to do. Okay. Sudo mount dev any something something something. Okay. So best command is the CLI command, right? So we'll use this CLI command and let's copy it to some notepad. And what we have to change? We can directly run it. No, we should not actually. Okay. So we have to use the volume ID. We have to change the volume ID. We have to change the instance ID. Okay. So let's change the instance ID first. This is the instance ID and let's copy this. Let's put it here. What is the volume ID? So volume ID is 1 GB. So this is the volume ID. And I'm copying it from here and putting it there. And device is, I think it's SDD, not /dev/. Let me check one more time. Now from here I can check it directly. 1 GB and from here we cannot check it. So let's go to volumes and check it from here. What is the device name? So it's dev slab std of 1 GB. That's why I put it 1 GB so that I can differentiate at least. Yeah. So let's go ahead, copy this. What is happening? I don't use Control C much because sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah. Did not get copied. Asking this. Let me silence this and let me cut it and then put it. Yeah. Okay. So CLI is not present. So let's install it. Okay. So very good AWS is giving because AWS CLI has no installation candidate. Okay. So there are ways to install AWS CLI. Okay. So let's go ahead and install it. Just you have to type install AWS CLI and you will be able to see this page where you have to go and take the commands from here. So this is something troubleshooting steps that you have to do. Okay. You will get it often. Okay. So these are the ways where you can just go ahead and install it. Okay. So I'm just going ahead, just doing it. .aws. What happened? Okay. So unzip command is not there. So that's why it's not able to unzip. So let's install this. So when I was learning AWS like 2019, so someone has asked the question, man, what is the man DB? So these are the questions which you should not ask a trainer because they will get irritated to this. Okay. So let me uh, now let's run that. Unable to log in credentials. Okay. So there is something called roles. Okay. Because it's saying that it doesn't have access. Okay. To EC2 doesn't have access to attach the volume. Okay. So you have to attach something called roles. Okay. What is a role? I'm not just telling right now because it's a session. Okay. Which I don't want to tell right now. Because, otherwise you will be confused. Okay. Just it doesn't have a role. So I'm just creating a role. Okay. Just creating a role. EC2 and just I'm giving administration access for now. Admin. Now I'll attach this. So now if I just go ahead, it'll show. The volume in use, attached volume is already. So it's saying that it's already attached. So just we have to mount it. So how can we say it's attached? So where is my queue? Okay, it gone or what? So it's already there. I thought it's gone. So attach, so here you can see what are the attached volumes with this command. Okay, this command was only I was finding sudo lsblk. This sometimes used to get asked like whether my what are the disks that uh, it has there. Okay, so it's like volume is already there, but if you are able to see, it will not be able to see that volume dot slash dev slash sdd because it's not mounted actually. Okay, so it's not mounted, and this also output like this. Okay, so volume has a file system or not, so let's go ahead and check this. Okay, it has a file system or not. Something came up. Okay, let's do one by one. Find the volume for XFS file system. No, for ext file system, this should be there actually. Leave it. Okay, let's do this. And nv1 and 1. Yeah. Okay. Now someone has asked me the question why we use this command ext4. I will tell you the answer. Now I am just creating a mount one, which I already did. Okay. Now I will do this. nv1 data. See if I can mount this dev. STD. If my device is slash dev slash STD. It should work. I'm sure it's not coming actually. Okay, format the volume actually. Size was specific. Okay. Anyways, I'm not sure why it is not showing. Although it's saying that it's used. Okay. I will check on this. Okay. You can also meanwhile check on this like why it is not showing. It should show actually whenever I used to do sudo lsblk. This device should be shown actually. I'm not sure why it's not showing. Okay. It's showing the data. Okay. But it's not showing the volumes. Anyways, although if you see, I think yeah, it's showing actually. I think we did a mistake of understanding the things. Okay. If you see, that's the 1 GB data. If you see here. Okay. And there is no mount point for this. And this is the name, actual name, what it reflects there. Okay. It's not showing the path dev SDD, but if you see, these are the 8 GB datas, NV1, NV101. Okay. And this is the 1 GB data which I attached. Okay. That's why I just wanted to confirm like this is 1 GB or not. So this is the actual name. Okay. Now what you can do, you can make it uh, um what's the name earlier given slash dev slash this is the actual. Okay. Now this is done, and now you can mount it. Okay. Mount, and put it to let's make another folder called sudo make dir data 3. Okay, data 2 is already there, and now you can mount it. Okay. Okay, earlier it is used to show the whole name actually devil's DD all as well. And what is the data 3? Okay, where I made the data 3 here. Okay, then it's slash home slash 0.2 data 3. Okay. Okay, Now, if you see, now if I'll do this sudo lsb, okay. Now, if you see, the mount point has come. Now you can put the data here. You can just go. You can just go here, and you can do anything. You can create a file, touch test.txt, okay. And if you see ls, you'll be able to see the test.txt. This is something by default it used to come, but this is the actual. You can use more touch uh, dev.txt, okay, and you'll be able to see the things, okay. Dev.txt, test.txt, and you can see the timing also, ls lrt, okay. You can see the timings. 6:41 it got created. What timing it is showing, I'm not sure. Maybe it's EST time or GMT time it's showing you, okay. So in that way you can mount it. Now if you ask me, we can directly create the folder and mount it, right? Mount. And why are we using something called ext and something we are doing, right? This command, this command, why you are doing this, okay. Make fstext4, why you are not doing this, okay. This is because when you are booting your server, suppose your server is get started, right? Okay. At the time this mount used to go off, okay. If I restart the server, if we don't use this command, right, and if you do sudo lsblk, this mount will go off. Again you have to mount it. I mean, this data will be there, but again you have to run the command to mount this to get the data, okay. So but if you use this command ext4, right, extension 4, then even after booting this mount will not go off. And that's the actual production use, that your mount should also not go off. Otherwise, suppose any new member comes, okay, how can they know that where the data is there? Okay, do they know that this is the actual folder? When you are making, right? So that's why you have to run this command. So this has been a very important interview question. Okay, good question actually. This is a very good experienced people question. So maybe the class extends due to these practicals, and class will extend, guys. So make sure that you have 15 to 20 minutes extra time whenever we are doing learning AWS. Actually, AWS should be in 1 week. It should be done for 6 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. Okay, but since we are initial, we are not doing much. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, the last thing which I want to share here. Actually, I should have covered EFS as well. So, guys, do you have time or it's going too much for you? And do you have any issue in understanding first? Because so many debuggings we did, so many things we did here, we faced issues. So maybe you may feel like it's it's getting hectic. So let me know. Anyone? I think Shubham has microphone issue. I believe Shubham is able to understand everything. Okay. Ashwini, uh, or anyone? Sharad, Sunil.
Yeah, so I don't have any issue till time, and we can extend if if you
Okay,
want.
sure. So I will not extend. I will extend 5 minutes more. Okay.
Okay.
So the next thing which I wanted to show here, it's theory actually. EFS, EFS. I'm not describing today. I'll describe in the next session. Okay. So EFS is nothing. Let me tell you very clearly. EFS is just like EBS, but it's a shared file system. It's a block system, right? Block storage. So it's like a shared file system. So what is its use? You can, so EBS you can attach to only one EC2. One EBS can be attached to only one EC2. You cannot attach to separate EC2. But you want to share the file. Suppose I have created a file called test.txt, but I want to share the same file with multiple EC2s. Okay. So at that time, what you have to do, you have to create multiple EBS. But here it's not like that EFS. You create one EFS, you can attach to multiple EC2s, and the same data will be shared among all the EC2s. Okay, so it's a shared file system. So if you open instance 1, you'll be able to see the file, same file, touch.txt or test.txt. Instance 2 will have the same file, instance 3 will have the same file, instance 4 will have the same file. Because it sometimes happens, right? You have to install the same software in many of the servers. Okay, so at that time you don't want the script to put in every, you have to log into every EC2 and put the script. So what you do, you use a EFS. Okay, you just put the files there and just share it with the EC2, attach it with the EC2. Okay, they will be able to get it. That's the I'll just do the practical in the next session, but that's the overall concept, nothing much more than that. Okay, so next thing which I want to just show you, that is the purchasing options. Okay, so purchasing options actually, if you go to architect role, at that time only you have to use this purchasing options. This is nothing like any kind of practicals. This is just for theory, because sometimes they used to ask. Okay, sometimes no, mostly times they used to ask. So purchasing options, it means like EC2 has several purchasing options. Okay, the one is the on demand, the other is the reserved. Okay, the third one is the spot. Okay, on demand is like whatever we are using now, that's on demand. Okay, you launch when needed, it's pay for second or pay for hour, it's okay. And you can terminate anytime for testing workloads, for smaller workloads. Okay, you have to use this. Okay, you are not using it for a long time. Okay, so just now we have done the demo, we'll erase it, right? So that's on demand. Okay, use, pay, stop, no obligations, simply. Okay, the next is coming the reserved. Okay, reserved is like for a production based application. If you're an organization, if you have to run any application which has come into market, okay, at that time you can use a reserved pricing model. So it happens like you can create, you have don't have to uh, be reliable for each day. It's just like renting an apartment. Okay, you rent an apartment with an agreement of 11 months, right? So here the agreement is at least for 1 year or 3 years. So here the cost is less because you are using reserved instances at a bulk, right? So it's for production based applications. Okay, so that's the reserved instances definition. Okay, and one is the spot instances. So spot instances is like the unused AWS instances. So suppose AWS has some unused instances. Now, suppose if you have some unused items in your market, in your shop, right? So it's not getting sold out, right? So finally, what you are giving a discounted price. Okay, I'll not sell at 50 rupees, I will sell at 20 rupees only. So these are unused instances, and people are buying it sometimes for using it for short term applications or very minor application, because it's very, very risky. AWS can terminate it anytime. Okay, that's the example of spot instance. Anytime it can terminate it. Okay. So suppose any application is there, you don't want to be exposed to internet, just you want to keep it to yourself. That also, you are not much interested on that application. You want just for showing it to for some time only, 1 day or 2 day. Okay. So you just take spot instances so that uh, y- because that's a very casual application. You don't want it to be for long time and all. Even if they terminate, let go. Okay. So, 10% chances, if you bought 10 EC2 instances, there is a 10% chance that AWS will terminate two of the instances. Okay. So, here it's a very clear on demand is for cost is very high because pay per price, short term demo purpose, reserved, steady workloads are there. Spot cheapest, it's fault because it's unused instances, fault tolerant and all. Okay. So from user perspective, where you will be able to see like whether this instance is a on demand or reserved, it's always on demand. It will be always on demand. Just like if you want a reserved instances, you have to buy the purchasing plan. But the same EC2 will be used. It's not like it's a type of EC2. It's the same EC2. The same on demand will behave as reserved. The same on demand will behave as a spot. The same on demand will behave as on demand itself. You have to use the purchase reserved instances. Okay. So I don't have any items because it's very, very costly. And only if you are a manager, or if you are a not even a manager, if you're an owner of a company, then only you have the capability to buy it, or otherwise it's a waste to buy it. Okay, so this is the, I just wanted to have the EC2 purchasing options, so I have kept it in the uh, PDF. Okay, so that at least you can go through. So this PDF is you can go through. because easy, and you can follow it for the demos also, whatever I've created demos. So I will add one more thing called the ext, so that your that command, let me, and why you are using it. So my EC2 got logged off. Okay. So if you see now, why I'm putting yes, it's sudo su, sudo lsbl. Okay. So now it's not gone. Okay. So this command will also, I'll put it. Where is that? Ah, okay. And where I should put it. And let's mount point to that. Okay, I think they have already put it. Okay, okay, okay. That's fine. So guys, how you have to check? To check the, let's, that's use sudo. Okay, small. It should be small actually. Okay. So either you run this or this. Okay. You should use whatever you are using there. Here you have to use this. And how to recognize from the volumes date size. Okay, as I asked you. Okay. So mine is 1 GB and two 8 GBs. Okay, because here the name is getting changed. Okay, and V something that's coming up. Okay. So hope you are able to understand. I'm just stopping the sharing here.